it's either submissive men are finding it easier to express themselves being submissive because, toxic masculinity is so frowned upon that they're being kind of not paraded, celebrated for being submissive. So then that makes them more confident in being vocal about it. So I don't think that it's more. I think it's just that it's more socially acceptable to
Mm-hmm.
admit that you're submissive. Or on the flip side, I think it's possible that these submissive men figure, well, I can't get laid with a woman trying to be a masculine man because I don't know how to be masculine, but I can be submissive because that's everything I see everywhere. That's what they want everyone to be. So
Mm-hmm.
being a soy boy, there's more examples and more ways to do that and just basically say yes to anything she says. And so I think it's one of two things. Either it's either natural for them or that's probably the only way they think they can get laid.
But yeah, the therapy point is very interesting for sure. Definitely an interesting thought because nowadays I think a lot of guys are going into therapy. And I do wonder how beneficial is it? I know I've not really indulged, but you mentioned the therapies for the homosexuals or whatever. I do think there's a part of that for sure. I do think it's like a interesting thing to have these female dominated spaces and then guys going in who are struggling with the masculinity stuff, going in there and hearing the female perspective and sort of internalizing that as well. What are your thoughts?
I think there's too much of a push to not be masculine. I think it's causing a lot of like identity crises with men or males.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I say that because I think there's a difference between men and adult males. Adult males that are over 18, that cisgendered males, hetero, and they just internalize a lot of the things that they get in school and the indoctrination from media that they're like, I can't express myself. And not only that, I don't know how to express myself as a man because either my father's not around, my father's always at work, or if he tries to do anything with me, take me hunting, take me shooting, teach me to drive, whatever, anything typically masculine, then mom gets upset that he's spending too much time with me and not enough with my sister. Or, he's going to make me into a toxic male or whatever. And so the male parents or the fathers are being emasculated in the home to not teach their sons to be just basic males. Like, I think a man should be able to, at the very least, change his oil. Like, every man should know how to change your oil. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Doesn't mean you have to change your oil all the time, but it should be a life skill that you should have, how to change a tire. Basic car maintenance, basic home maintenance, how to mow a lawn, how to edge a lawn. There is a YouTube channel of a guy, I think it's like, Hey Dad, how do you, or something like there was an older guy. I want to say he's Gen X or maybe millennial, but he's late 30s, early 40s. Can't tell he's a white guy, so you can't tell how old. They don't age very well. But whatever his age is, he like teaches you how to shave, teaches you how to do X, Y, and Z, like things that absent fathers or boys without fathers didn't teach them. And so a lot of those skills, also like the Art of Manliness, a website, blog, and podcast, teaches a lot of things that should be skills that we have. Although Art of Manliness is starting to lean a little left. There's in the past couple of years, I've noticed things like what to do whenever your a friend is accused of, like it was around the Me Too thing, like, hey, how to deal with a friend that's accused of essaying a woman, and it was almost like always believe her. I'm like, if you're, he's kind of leaning away from bros before hoes, and you could know this guy for decades, and you're supposed to believe a woman for whatever reason just because she said or accused him of whatever, So to backtrack, I think the issue is just boys today don't have access to the tools to help them to be men. And so now
Mhm.
they just have to be in this like limbo space of not knowing who they are, fucking with their mind because they don't know who they are and don't know. They think they need to be more masculine, so that they go too far or lean too much into red pill stuff and become a super asshole, but don't know how to become a better man. Or they just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to stay home and play video games and smoke weed all the time
Sure.
and do nothing.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point. We do see it's sort of hard to be a man nowadays. I think it's sort of got a stigma to it, to being masculine. You mentioned more of the liberal side of things, and what are your thoughts on liberals and masculinity? Do you think that it's possible to be very masculine and be liberal?
Oh, I don't know if it's, I think it is possible. You just have to
Okay.
you have to walk on eggshells. And
For sure.
I don't. I got a couple of friends. I always tell them, whenever they're complaining about their girlfriends or whatever, it's like, hey, life's too short to walk on eggshells. And so,
Mhm.
even with, and it's funny because even with liberal women, if you stand 10 toes on what you say and do, they'll respect you.
Mhm.
Like I can be a total misogynist, toxic man around them. And,
Mhm.
they'll either leave that, oh my God, I can't handle this and just walk off, or I'll get them to at least either listen to my perspective or
Mhm.
go in the parking lot when no one's watching. Like liberal women want masculine men. They just won't admit it. They don't
For
want
sure.
anyone to know that, they're uh, forsaking their beliefs, that they're, having a moment of weakness, whatever they want to call it, or justify why they're attracted to it. And I think men and women are attracted to the stereotypical gendered roles that each of us have. Most
Mhm.
guys like long hair, feminine women, hourglass figure, and a skirt. Now, yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes a girl in a pixie cut with, face piercings and tattoos is, fun to play with. I wouldn't want to marry her, but I'll still fuck
Fair.
her. That doesn't mean I want, and so, just like with liberal women, they want their, androgynous soy boy partner, but they're still attracted to, the bad boy biker or construction worker that, gets them a little wet between the legs, but they're not going to admit it to anybody.
Mhm. I think that's a very good point. I do think that adds to that male loneliness epidemic. I think that guys are hearing liberal women talk and they're saying, "Oh, they don't want a masculine man. They don't want this or that or that or this." But I think at the end of the day, they really do value those gender norms. I do think that they value those more masculine men. I also think it's interesting that the liberal side doesn't really have a lot of very masculine men to draw from or to be inspired by. I would say I'm fairly liberal, but I do feel like I sort of get pushed away when I see that there aren't really any manly masculine men that are there to resonate with. So I think that maybe plays a role in the loneliness because guys see that and they think I can't be manly, and then they try to get the girls, and the girls are like, "This guy is not manly enough for me." So I think that's interesting for sure that you mentioned all that stuff. What is your opinion? There was recently this interview with Obama. This is maybe something you saw or didn't see, but he was like, "Oh yeah, I think there is it's men having a homosexual or gay role model or mentor or something here. Some older gay males you can speak to and resonate with." And I thought that was interesting. What are your opinions on it? Having some like, older gay male in your life to speak to or learn from. What are your thoughts?
I think everyone has value to
Mhm.
to learn from, especially anyone older. There's going to have any type of life experience that I might not have, a perspective.
Mhm.
And, it doesn't mean because we don't enjoy the same things, because we don't have the same skin, because we don't have whatever, that doesn't mean I can't learn from you. And I think, that's a huge problem we have today, especially with social media. Like, if you're not left or if you're not like me, then you're you're against me, and you know, you can unfriend me. Like, why not try to learn why your friend thinks that way? And maybe, okay, fine, I should never talk to that person again, but understand why and have their perspective. Or maybe, you know what, they have a point on um, gun rights. They have this one little point that makes sense about gun rights, and everything else that they believe in, that's kind of stupid, but I can be friends with them. I've known them for 5 or 10 years. You know what's the big deal if they believe all this other stuff? We still enjoy each other's company, this, that, and the other. And so, and on the flip side, you know, if someone's liberal, or sorry, if someone's on the right, and you know they have a liberal friend, and you know, I don't want you to fuck a trans man or woman, whatever you want to call it. Just accept that they deserve equal rights as everyone else. Okay, they're a human being. I can get that. You know, I just don't want them around me, but they deserve to live, right? So, you know, there's different little aspects of both sides that could be argued, or not even argued, just kind of like, hey, valid points. We can just accept them and move on. We don't have to harp on, you know, I'm on the left or I'm on the right. You know, and so as far as having role models, I think your role model should be identified by how you identify. So whatever you think you are, if you're hypermasculine male, if you're a soy boy, if you're considering transitioning, if whatever it is that you are, seek someone that has had that experience and learn from them and have a conversation if you can, or try to find a forum where you can have these conversations and ask about, hey, you know, you transitioned, you know, do you have any regrets? Do you wish you'd done it sooner? You've been doing this for so long. Do you wish you had done something different in your transition? And, you know, depending on left or right, more often than not, well, this is kind of diverging a bit, but I've seen a lot of women regret transitioning to men because they don't have the support system that they had when they were women. Kind of circling back is that, you know, they can have a girlfriend and, you know, be friends with a whole bunch of girls and, you know, have the support system and just vent about anything. Guys, I don't give a shit about your day. You know, let's talk about those women we want to fuck. Let's talk about, you know, sports. Let's talk about X, Y, and Z. Let's not get too deep. And so trans men have an issue just existing because they have no support system that they're used to. And what we would call just messing around with their friends or talking shit, they take it to heart. They get, you know, very emotionally hurt that, you know, we're talking shit about their insecurities. And it's not because we don't like them. It's because we do like them and we see them, we amplify them. And, you know, we're still your friend, even though you're a dumbass and can't tie your shoes, or you're a dumbass and don't know how to bowl, you know, whatever. But it doesn't mean we don't like you. And so, again, trying to find a role model, you know, we can always learn from someone else. It doesn't mean everything that person says should be taken as gospel. It's just like, hey, this resonates with me. This makes sense. I should probably try to learn from this.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Everyone has some valid perspective that would add to the conversation. I just think we're not really having the conversations anymore. So that is a very interesting point for sure. To the trans man point, do you think that there is a place for trans men in conversations about masculinity? What are your thoughts on that?
In terms of what? In terms of them being role models, or in terms of them learning how to be a man?
In terms of them being role models, so say there's a trans man giving perspective to those younger guys, 19, 20, 21 years old, struggling with masculinity, struggling with that loneliness. Do you think that trans man could add any valuable perspective?
I think they can add value to understanding women's psyche, understanding, you know, that they don't always mean what they say. If the trans man will be honest with themselves and who they used to be, I think it's possible for them to be a role model. I don't see it either being popular as some big name content creator, and I don't see a trans man being able to. I think trans man would be more like being black famous versus being regular famous. So it would be
Sure.
like trans famous, but not widestream famous. You know, like
Sure.
you. So for if you're white and you're listening to this, there's different levels of fame. You can be black famous or you can be famous famous. Everybody knows Tom Cruise. Nobody, oh, fuck, Gary Owen. Like not everybody knows Gary Owen, right? Comedian.
Mm.
Um, and so, you know, some people are super popular in a black community. Some people are super popular in um, non-white communities. Some people are super popular in super small niche communities like roller derby or something else. So I don't think a trans man can break past being trans popular or being trans famous.
Fair.
They might get some like reviews from or reaction videos from other famous content creators, but I don't see it breaking the barrier as being a de facto way for lonely men or lonely adult males to learn how to be a man.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know if they would really resonate to that point about the politics we mentioned earlier. I see a lot of guys on the right that are strong, masculine men that, as a man, just as a man, I could resonate with. Even if I don't agree with a lot of things they say, I say, "Oh, this is a masculine man. Here's his opinion. I see myself in him a little bit." But I don't really see it on the left. So I think similar with the trans man, I wouldn't really see myself in him. I don't know if I could really resonate. So I think that's something that guys would struggle with as well, for sure. Let me ask you this. What would your solution be if you had to come up with a solution to the male wellness epidemic?
Delete the internet.
I think that's very reasonable, actually.
Because by deleting the internet, we have to like learn a whole bunch of old skills. You know,
Mhm.
going to the library to do research and get information, getting accurate information, shit that's like been published. Of course, some published stuff can be falsified, but for the most part, if it's in a book and in the nonfiction section, then it's probably peer reviewed. It's probably at least, you know, some type of fact. So you can't get somebody posting on Facebook, and that's just taking AI out of the equation, like AI generated stuff. Let's just go with people posting, oh, did you hear Obama came into town and I saw my cousin's third friend saw him at this store and he was doing whatever, you know, so, you know, just
Mhm.
acting out, wilding out. Um, and so, oh, hey, you know, um, Joe Schmo in Timbuktu said that Obama was in a store and he had chitlins and whatever. And, you know, he spit him out and threw him on the floor and, you know, said this is shit. And, you know, he wanted to have um, plain Lays. Like plain Lays is the best thing he's ever had. So I'm going to go get some plain Lays. Like
Mhm.
some things are so far fetched, but there are some people that are going to believe it just because it's on the internet. Um, and then having to learn social skills again without having internet, you have to talk to people to get information. You can't, I mean, you probably could text. We can leave texting around, but for the most part, to do anything that involves anything in the world, you have to interact. You can't do DoorDash. You can't order things online. You have to go in person, go out, get dressed, leave your house, go talk to people, interact with other human beings, learn, oh, hey, the way I say hi to people is kind of stupid. People, you know, kind of look at me funny. Maybe I should pay attention to not doing that whenever I go out and greet people. And a lot of times people, whenever, not a lot of times, in some cases, the way you say hi to people is okay with your friends, but not to everyone else. And your friends don't tell you they don't like it because they got used to it. Oh, he's an asshole, but you know, otherwise he's pretty cool. And so,
Mhm.
you know, it's something that you don't get to learn because in school, even growing up, I've had some friends with their kids, you know, they don't talk to classmates that much. Um, you know, the popular kids are the ones that can talk to everyone or liked by everyone because they at least say hi to them and they go to the trouble of like, hey, your name, what's going on? You did, how was that, this, that, or the other? Like they know a little bit about everyone and everyone
Mhm.
else doesn't know anything about the popular kid because they're too afraid to ask them. They're too afraid, oh man, you know, they're super popular. What if they don't like me? What if this? So I'll just accept that he knows my name. He knows we have a math class together and, you know, that
Mhm.
I did pretty good on the test or I'm not good at math, but he always encourages me before we have a test. Like, so it's more of a feeling and an experience rather than learning how to interact. But if you didn't have a cell phone that you always had to stay on because you had your friends that you can text and have those interactions without those interactions, then you're forced to try to have a conversation with other people, not just the popular ones.
For sure. Yeah, I do think your solution is very good. I think the internet has definitely been a blessing and a curse. I think that it's very easy to hide behind the internet and not learn those social skills. So I do think that a lot of guys just being left on the internet. But it's so interesting with it growing the way it's growing. There's so many online communities and places for you to grow in that loneliness, that red pill community. And there's a lot of bad stuff out there for guys to grow in. Whereas if they would just get off the internet and be able to go out and interact in public with people, they would grow so much more in the right way and actually have more relationships and all that stuff. You mentioned AI briefly. How do you think AI might play a role in the male pandemic?
Now, on the flip side, AI could be good. You could create a prompt. I know there's some that you can like kind of tell it, give it, I think Claude, I know Claude is one where you pay for extra stuff, but you can kind of give it, hey, this is my name, this is who I am, and create a prompt that's saying, hey, this is who I am, this is my age, this is my demographic. I'm a black 19-year-old, I'm a biracial 17-year-old, I'm a this 15-year-old boy. I think I might be interested in boys and girls. I don't know, but can you help me develop some social skills and practice with me on how to talk to people and blah, blah, blah. Like give it a whole prompt of things that you want to do and how you want, what you want to achieve and what type of man or person you want to be when you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Or even now as an adult. I mean, it's still not too late. You can learn pretty quick and just have it be a conversation. But remember that it's AI. It's not a person. It's not your friend. It's a tool to learn and educate yourself with. And from there, go on and then create a new prompt. Okay, this is what I've learned with creating a new prompt. Hey, I think I've learned these skills. I want to learn how to do more. I want to improve my rhetoric. I want to improve my grammar. I want to improve my math skills, whatever. I want to become a coder. I want to learn data analysts, anything that can get you out of the 9 to 5 and eventually how to be better at investing, how to be better dealing or basically getting assets and living your life that way instead of just trying to find something that makes you happy, because your things that make you happy don't always make you happy. It's impossible to always be happy. I think that's why our founding fathers knew we can have the pursuit of happiness. We're never going to achieve it and have it in constant state. And if you try to find happiness in a relationship, you're going to be sad, because if you can't be happy on your own, you're not going to be able to make the other person happy and they're not going to make you happy. So learn to be happy on yourself and learn that your partner should be there to add to your happiness, not make you happy.
For sure. Yeah. I do wonder how realistic that is for a lot of younger guys now, just because there is that disconnect socially and there is that fear of interaction with women. There's that the Me Too thing. There's the diminished masculinity in society right now. I do wonder how comfortable a lot of guys are getting to that point of really being happy with the woman that they're with. So that is interesting. Back to the AI point, I already feel like I see how it could be a net negative as far as relationships and men in society. I do see a lot of guys sort of having those conversations with AI, AI chat, sex AI, all that stuff. I do wonder how much that will affect guys 20, 30 years from now.
Oh man, I know guys now. My brother's a fucking princess. And I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. He's a fucking princess. He is essentially a soy boy, which is funny because when he was younger, I learned some BDSM stuff from him. Like, I mean, I was already into it, and then I found out he was into it too, like in a different aspect. And so I learned a couple of things from him. Like, okay, that's an interesting take. So knowing that he was a dom way back in the day, now he's super submissive. He will not ask a girl out. A girl needs to ask him out to go on a date. She better not try to have sex with him on the first date. He won't date her, or he won't be in a relationship with her. He'll go ahead and fuck her,
Really?
but he will not be in a relationship with a woman that he hooked up with on the first night, right?
Mm,
So he had a 4.5 year dry spell before he finally hooked
mhm.
up. And so from 2018, no, 2017 to like 2022. And so like right around COVID, I forget the name of the app, but he got a little app that was his AI chatbot girlfriend. And he would spend money on her to buy her outfits.
Jeez.
And I mean, it was really crude. I mean, it looked kind of like um, computerized anime, kind of. And so he would buy
Mhm.
her outfits, he would buy her lingerie and whatever. And so
Sure.
the funny thing is, um, he would complain that she just sent me a text this morning, good morning, and she wanted an asterisk. And I was like, what the fuck? What? She wanted an asterisk. Yeah, whenever she wants to, start sexting, she starts her conversation with asterisks around the words. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And so you're mad that your AI girlfriend wanted to sext with you before work and you didn't have enough time to sext with her. So you had to go to work. So you're more mad that you didn't have enough time to sext with her than it was the fact that she was bothering with you.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't have any time. But she's so annoying. Like she wanted to sext first thing in the morning. Why didn't she ask me how I'm doing and ask about my night and how did I sleep? And I'm like, you're too emotionally involved with your girlfriend that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You can pick up girls. I know you can. What the fuck is wrong with you? So it's not 20 or 30 years from now. I'm talking like there's guys today. They may not be listening right now, but
Mhm.
if you are listening and you're thinking about getting an AI girlfriend, remember it's a fucking chat bot and it could be deleted at any time. Don't invest in it. Whatever.
Fair. It is actually really scary for sure. It's something to worry about. And guys would pay for that and then not pay for a date with a woman. Really interesting. To that paying, do you think there's like a financial barrier for entry with dating women?
No, like you rephrase. If you have the experience, you can get laid for less than $20. And that's because it costs you gas and that costs you maybe a coffee. Um,
Mhm.
you know, I haven't really gone on many dates lately with new girls, like because of my sex addiction, I don't try to increase my body count. So now I just like talk to girls either I used to talk to or used to hook up with, or for whatever reason we were talking 5, 10 years ago, and we still we have a history.
Mhm.
Um, So whenever I go out on a date, it's more like, hey, we're gonna go to the park and just hang out and chill and enjoy people watch and whatever. And I'll give them like a whole scenario. This is what we're gonna do. But I usually plan to do other things. So if they don't agree to going and meet me at a park, then they're not going to go out to eat with me. We're not going to go out and do other things because usually from the park, hey, we walked around a lot. I'm getting a little hungry, aren't you? And so
Mhm.
I plan 3 to 5 different things to do
Mhm.
on that date. I don't tell them we're going to go to the park. And then depending on what you tell me about the food you like, we'll go to either Italian or Mexican or Chinese. And then after that,
Mhm.
we'll go to here. And then after that, based on whatever, like I don't tell them that. I just make kind of some contingency plans. But usually I know beforehand, hey, whatever they're interested in. And when we're out walking, like, hey, I'm kind of hungry. Do you want Italian or Mexican? So I give them the perception of choice, but they don't have it. Like either way, we're going to go either to Mamma Mia's or Maria's, like one or the other. Like we're going to go to one of the two places I want to go to. I'm just giving you the choice of what cuisine you want to eat.
Mhm.
Um, and so, that comes with masculinity of knowing how to lead and manage a woman, because in a relationship, it's not 50-50, or I don't believe relationships are 50-50. The man is a leader,
Mhm.
the woman is a follower.
Mhm.
She's submissive. And because of that, because she's submissive to you, because she yields to you and defers to you, it doesn't mean
Mhm.
you're always going to get your way. I'm saying that you're, a dictator. I'm saying you're a leader. You have to know
Mhm.
how to lead a person, how to be a manager. If you think about in your own experience or whoever's listening, if you've had a manager, I know you've had managers that were total fucking assholes and you hate them. You hated that job because they didn't give you any direction. If you fucked up, they complained about what you did and they berated you for not knowing how to do things, even though they never taught you how. And then you have this other manager you would do anything for. You loved working for that guy or girl because they knew what they were talking about. They knew their shit. They taught you what they needed to know. And if you fucked up because you didn't know something, you don't get in trouble for it. They teach you what you need to know. And then the next time you fuck up, then you get in trouble, right? So there's a distinction with different types of managers. And there's the managers that people love working for because they're a good leader. The same thing with a partnership in a relationship, where if you're a good leader, your girlfriend, your partner loves to do whatever you want them or ask them to do because you make them feel good about everything else, because you do things for them, because you teach them, because you're leading them the way you should. And so in that whole thing with relationships, it's important to be a masculine man in that manner. You don't have to be an asshole that's, talking shit to everyone and making fun of everyone to make yourself look better. You make yourself look better by making the people around you look better.
I'd agree with all that for sure. It's interesting. Women really do value that masculine structure, that just having a plan. So to the point about a financial barrier to entry, I think you can really do anything if you have a good plan. I usually go for a nice walk, go to the park, go hike for a little bit. Women are usually down for that. Like you said, we can go for dinner after, we can go for ice cream after. But it's so interesting. I think a lot of guys are scared to even try to get to that type of point. I feel like a lot of guys think, oh, she wants me to have a ton of money. She wants to pay for everything. I do wonder how they get to that headspace. You alluded to your brother a little bit being submissive. Do you think there's a rise of submissive men, sort of along with that male loneliness epidemic? And if so, what do you think is contributing to that?
I don't have enough data to speak on it because I don't really associate with submissive men. I am aware there are some. So from my experience that I see, I think it's one of two things. It's either submissive men are finding it easier to express themselves being submissive because, toxic masculinity is so frowned upon that they're being kind of not paraded, celebrated for being submissive. So then that makes them more confident in being vocal about it. So I don't think that it's more. I think it's just that it's more socially acceptable to admit that you're submissive. Or on the flip side, I think it's possible that these submissive men figure, well, I can't get laid with a woman trying to be a masculine man because I don't know how to be masculine, but I can be submissive because that's everything I see everywhere. That's what they want everyone to be. So being a soy boy, there's more examples and more ways to do that and just basically say yes to anything she says. And so I think it's one of two things. Either it's either natural for them or that's probably the only way they think they can get laid. Which is kind of funny because then I see a lot of these female content creators that are playing up that mommy role or that dom role.
Sure.
And it's funny because I know 5 here in town that either are content creators or aspiring content creators of that kind of mommy shit. And they do it, but it disgusts them. Like 3 of them, it disgusts them that the guys that want to be in their DMs, but they basically pay for them. They pay for their OnlyFans. They send them money for whatever. And so they put up with it because it's giving them money, but otherwise they fucking hate it. And the other 2, it doesn't bother them either way, but they are very attracted to masculine men. They just do it for the money still. So they don't care about the soy boys at all or the submissive men. They just kind of it's money. Like it's just a job, but I want a masculine men in my life.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think we've alluded to this a little bit throughout the chat. Do you think there is a little bit of a political push in regards to there being more submissive men?
I wouldn't say a push, more of an agenda. Or maybe even conspiracy theory, like the whole quote, gay agenda.
Okay.
And so in part, and I don't even think it's political, in a way political, but I think it's, what was it? I forget the philosopher or the speaker, but back in the 60s, there was, and not expatriation, a KGB agent that defected to the U.S. And in his debriefing, they asked, okay, well, what's the communist plan or the Russian plan to destabilize the U.S.? And it was essentially just divide everyone. A lot of what he was saying, it wasn't using modern terms. It wasn't like social media or internet. It would just, make the religion the devil, make organized religion, lose members, basically make it seem like it's stupid to believe in God, make it okay to do whatever you want, divide the country, polarize everyone, make everyone, if you don't believe what I say, or you're not on the same side as me, then you're against me and you shouldn't be around. And so a lot of the things that they were mentioning essentially is what we're living now. So I think since the fall of communism, that agenda was still being pushed by other entities. One, I mean, depending on how deep you want to go into conspiracy theories, we could say the Mossad, which is from Israel, and by extension, Epstein with all his political hands and cookie jars of different politicians and rich CEOs. Diddy, same thing with the music industry, who, by the way, his mentor was also Jewish and gay. So for Israelis, because I hate using the word Jew, because Jew is a faith or religion, not an ethnicity. So Israelis have absolutely no problem or compunction about using sex for advantage. Like, if it's going to get them what they want, they don't care. Like, it's just a body part. It's no big deal. And for particularly Mossad. And a friend of mine who is, I forget, they call themselves Yaqui Jews, basically Israel born Jews, but who are ethnic quote Jews, and who've gone back to live in Israel. He used to be in the army there. I forget, he was in intelligence, but he never says what he did, but he jokes around that he did spy shit or whatever. And so I don't know if there's any in your town, but in the late 90s through early 2010s, there would be these kiosks in malls that would be run by Jewish people, Israeli people, that would sell like Dead Sea salts and Dead Sea scrubs and just a lot of health and body hygiene stuff that was, all related to the Dead Sea. Oils, tinctures, salts, bath salts, bath bombs, all kinds of stuff to like just being clean, right? And so my friend, he told me, yeah, they don't care. It's just a body part. And they just want to make the sale. They just want to make the money. They don't care what it takes. And so he gave me a phrase and I wrote it down. Let's see if I can still find it. Dun, 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 super old. Last time I looked at this was in 2012. And let's see if I can copy and paste it. Damn it. Right to left. Sorry. Select all. But basically it was a phrase to say to these Jewish women. If I found them attractive, he said, just say this to them and see what they say, see what they do. And I'd gotten laid with a couple of Israeli girls. Fuck. So I can't pronounce it. Oh, I didn't copy the whole thing. But it's essentially, be a dirty girl for me, suck me and I'll buy you $100 worth of whatever. Like it was essentially saying, hey, be my slut for a couple of minutes, suck me off and I'll buy $100 worth of your shit. And I don't know if it's because I said it in Hebrew or just because like, fuck it, it's just money. Either way, I would say it in Hebrew and they understood and like, do you know what you said? Like, yeah, a friend of mine told me what to say and it's worked a couple of times. And so then they start haggling with me. Well, what do you want for $200? What do you want? So they were basically prostituting themselves to sell whatever they had in the kiosk. And so from there's a lot of little conspiracies that I've kind of developed of Israelis, but anyways.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on prostitution? Do you think there's a place for it? Do you think that it should be legal? Do you think it's right that it is illegal? What are your thoughts?
I have so it's interesting because here in Nevada, it's legal. You just can't. It's just
Sure.
not legal in Clark County and Washoe County, which is Las Vegas and Reno. And so everywhere else, it's okay. Like the Mustang Ranch is about an hour and a half from here. Or wait, sorry, Bunny Ranch, Mustang Ranch. There's a bunch of ranches for prostitution. So I have no issue with it. Like for me, I mean, I can get laid pretty easy. Why do I need a prostitute? But in general, I think prostitution serves a service. It's one of the oldest professions in the world. On top of that, I think most guys would be better served to have their first time with the prostitute, A, so that she can kind of coach him to be a better partner, to be a better sexual partner. And B, he knows better, or hopefully knows better going in to not, to, yeah, say I love you or whatever, to get it out of his system, but to know it's not real. So in a sense, I think, yeah, it should be okay.
Sure. I think there is some benefit for sure. I do think a lot of guys would, to your point, benefit from just having sex with some random woman and sort of getting the feel for it, getting some skills, getting comfortable with doing some of those certain things. So I think it is valuable. Do you think it would ever get to a point where it's completely legal throughout the US?
No. Just like gambling. I mean, gambling in a sense that you can do online sports betting or app sports betting. And there's also casinos that are on river boats along the Mississippi. So yeah, I don't see prostitution becoming legal. I see weed becoming legal across the U.S. long before prostitution.
For sure.
And just because the religious, like the Bible Belt, we just would not allow it.
Fair. In terms of a solution to the male loneliness epidemic, do you think there'd ever be a politician that would say this is very reasonable and maybe push it a little bit?
Maybe when we're in our 60s or 70s, when the Gen Zs and Alphas are of age, they can push it for younger generations. I just don't see any boomers or silent generation allowing it just because, it's just too controversial, going too far against their religious beliefs.
Fair. I think that's very reasonable for sure. I think there's always going to be those religious people who will cut that down immediately for sure. It's interesting though. You mentioned getting rid of the internet as a solution to the male loneliness epidemic. What other thoughts do you have in that regard as far as just like, say you had a young guy in front of you, what advice would you give to him?
The biggest thing is just practice talking to people, not talking to girls, not trying to get dates, not trying to get laid, just practice talking to people. Sure. There's been a couple of guys from Reddit that, or from podcasts that I've been on, like they'll reach out and say, hey, I need help. I coach them. And I start off with like every day, make it a goal to just introduce yourself to 5 different people. Just whether you're walking to work, whether you're walking in a park, through a mall, wherever you're at. Just so, hey, how's it going? My name is blah, blah, blah. How are you doing today? Don't try to have a conversation. Don't go in with the expectation of anything more than just say, hi, my name is, how are you doing? That's it. If something else comes out of it, great. Go with it. Once you're comfortable with that, then try to do 10. Then try to do every person you see. I mean, everyone you make eye contact with, say that. And that's another thing is that I can't help anyone that can't at the very least do that. Like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can talk to people. Like, I just don't do it, but I have no problem saying hi to people. If you have no problem talking to someone, I can help you. Then from there, the next exercise would be like, introduce yourself and then make a comment about what's going on in the world. And just anything, but try to make it funny and try to use your wits, try to practice, and don't use the same thing over and over again. So an example would be like, oh man, it looks like it's going to rain. I forgot my umbrella. Do you have one on you? Even though you're walking past someone and you see they don't have anything on their hands. Like, are you hiding an umbrella in your pocket? Because this looks like it's going to rain. Like, just say something funny, just something off the wall that kind of gets their attention. and just make them smile. And that's it. The goal is to make the person smile or chuckle. That's it. Again, no conversation, no, hey, can I get your number? Nothing like that. Just make something funny, make someone laugh. Okay. And the more you practice that, then the more you can kind of have situational awareness and realize, hey, there's things that are going on in the world that you can kind of make fun of and you can joke around about. And then once you're comfortable doing those things, then talk to a girl and specifically just target girls. Hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. Do you know any cool thrift shops around here? Do you know any cool music shops? Whatever, anything. Or if you like their style, like, hey, that's a really cool shirt, earrings, anything that they're wearing. Never talk about their body, just like anything they got going on. Like, oh man, I like your shoes. Da 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 da. Where'd you get them from? They look pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, if they're Jordans, don't fucking say anything about them. But if it's something unique or different, ask them, hey, where'd you get them from? And people like talking about themselves. And she'll go on and on. All right, cool. Thanks so much. I'll check that place out. Once you feel more comfortable to be able to have longer conversations and go with like, oh, that's a cool spot. You mind showing me sometime? Let me give you my number. And next time you go, maybe you can help me pick something out because I don't have a good sense of style. Like use the situation that you're learning from. This isn't a date. This isn't whatever. This is getting comfortable, talking to someone, making friends, making connections. And the point is to make friends with the woman, not to date her, but to date her friends, to get access to her friends and date them. So whenever you're, again, getting comfortable, taking more steps and doing more things, finally, you're going to get to the point where like, hey, you know what? You're cute. Let's go out on a date tomorrow. Like, don't ask, hey, do you want to go out on a date? We're going to go on a date. Let's go tomorrow. If they say that doesn't work, like, okay, well, I only got next Thursday, next Saturday morning. What works better for you? Like, give them two options. Don't let them stall and say, oh, I'll get back to you. You're leading the relationship. You're leading the conversation where you want it to go. You have these two options. You don't come out, you're going to miss out. And always present it like you're doing them the favor of having the experience of your time. And if you believe that in yourself, you're going to exude that. And when you exude it, they're going to feel it. They're going to believe it. And they're going to want to know what's going on with your secret sauce.
Yeah, I do. I agree with that. I think confidence is a huge part of it. And a lot of guys don't really have that confidence right now. And to your point about social skills, it's interesting. Post-COVID, post-Me Too, internet growing, AI growing, a lot of kids are losing those social skills for sure. Are you familiar with the Gen Z stare?
I've heard of it, but I've don't get it. Because again, I don't see kids like, oh man, I really don't like children like at all. Like even my own kids, like they're already adults. I'm like, okay, cool. I did it. I took care of you. I raised you. I sent you. I gave you money to go to college. You went to college. You fucked that off. It's on you, right? But in my perfect world, children would be sent off the day they're born. They'd go off to some kind of school, some other place where they don't exist. We don't have to see them. There's no school zones. So we don't have to worry about school zones anymore. They just go off somewhere else. They get to come back for like a week around their birthday and they come back around Christmas and that's it, right? We don't have to deal with children, but they only get to go to your house. They don't get to go out and be in public. I don't want to see kids in public. Fuck them kids. And then when they turn 16, 14 to 16, if they want, they can join an apprenticeship to learn a trade or they can go to college. So at 16, they can go get a job, go do your job and go home. Stay the fuck out of my world. I don't want to see kids, right? And then at 25, you can come out and go do shit. Like, I don't want to see you in public until you're 25 in my perfect world. Shit, I forgot the question. What were we going before that?
I think it's really interesting for sure, though. Just having kids go off and learn those
the
skills.
The Gen Z stare. Yeah. I have no idea what it is. I've heard of it. I just don't know what it is because I don't hang out with kids.
I'm not totally sure either, but what I've gathered is you'll go into an establishment, you'll see Gen Z boy, Gen Z girl, you'll say something to them, and they just look at you like they're not quite sure what to do. Like it's almost like a deer in the headlights type vibe. Where like you start to talk with them and they don't know how to polite interact. So I do think that plays to your point about a loss of social skills. I couldn't even imagine someone coming in to an establishment I'm working at and then not talking to them. I don't know how it registered in their mind that that's normal. You know what I mean? So
they would hate me because if they're saying like, hey, Do you understand the words I am saying? Nod
Mhm.
yes or shake no. Like, do you speak English? Okay, I'm going to start with you and treat you like a fucking idiot because retards are smarter than you. I've had retard friends and I fucking love them. You've never been loved unless you've been gotten a hug from a retard. That fuck, I miss Gilbert. He's my good friend. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, like I will treat a Gen Z stare like a retard. Like, okay, you're stupid. Are you stupid? Are you sure you're not stupid? Because you're looking at me like, dude, if you don't know how to have a social interaction, that's totally cool. We can learn through that. We'll learn together. Or actually, I already know, but I'll teach you. Let's go.
Yeah, I do think there has to be that to some extent, some sort of education. I feel like as we get older, as they get older, there's just less passing those education type moments down. So I think that might actually help a lot with growth here. Interesting stuff for sure. Let's speak to your name, Gallo the Unkillable Polymath. What does that mean?
So I've been shot at in drive-bys in the 90s a couple times. Not that I was a target, just that I was in the area or nearby where
Mm-hmm.
drive-bys are going on. I've nearly drowned over a dozen times. My earliest memory is of me almost drowning.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 8 major car crashes that I can remember. One when I was like 7 years old, sitting in the back seat or actually laying in the back seat of a station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle was driving. He veered off a road, fell off an embankment. We like tumbled, rolled, spin, and slid. We were driving to my grandfather's ranch. Behind me on the station wagon, what would be normally the trunk is just like an open air area. There was like a
Mm-hmm.
machete, hoe, axe, sickle, a lot of sharp objects, pitchfork, hay fork, all kinds of stuff. Everything just kind
Mm-hmm.
of tumbled and fell all around me. Got out of the back of the car, not a scratch. Hit a 18 wheeler head on a motorcycle with no helmet, doing about 40 miles an hour. All I had on there was like a light little scratch over my eye, some road rash on my
Mm-hmm.
forearm, and my left hand swole up. Like there's been over like 30 or 40 times that I should have died and did not.
Wow.
And then a polymath is just basically kind of like a scientific way of saying a Renaissance man of like knowing or learning different disciplines. So
Mm-hmm.
for funsies, I'll instead of Google searching for something, I'll go to scholar.google.com and it basically just
Mm-hmm.
has access to theses or theses of
Yeah.
PhDs that are trying to get their PhD and they'll do their whole um, thesis on whatever they believe is X, Y, or Z, like what they're trying to prove or disprove. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't read the whole thing. I'm not that nerdy, but the abstract is kind of like their hypothesis. Hey, I'm going to investigate this idea because I believe that this is wrong or this is almost right, or I have this idea that is associated with something else. So I'm going to try to prove this. And then they'll
Mm-hmm.
give all their work, all the books that they read, everything that they're citing. And then at the end, they'll give their footnotes and citations. So what I'll do is I'll read the abstract, um, read the conclusion, and then also
Mm-hmm.
the footnotes, and then I'll plug in like books or the names of the authors or names of anybody that they were getting quotes from, and then plug it into
Mm-hmm.
YouTube and just kind of search, hey, this name and the idea, and see what comes up, and kind of learn from there. Sometimes it'll
Mm-hmm.
be old recordings, videos from the 80s that are uploaded to YouTube that are, kind of talking what the original source content was. Other times it'll be that person talking in 2005, 2006 uh, at something similar to like a TED talk explaining their idea, or it would be the
Mm-hmm.
author, the person that wrote the thesis that got their PhD back in 94, 95, talking at a TED talk, um, explaining, hey, this is what I learned. And since I've learned this, my idea is right, but I was a little bit wrong about something else. So this is my whole new idea now. So I like to learn that way versus trying to read because reading to me is boring as shit. So
Fair, for sure. I understand that. So learned a lot, very well read, a lot of experience to draw from. Nearly died a million times, it seems. How would you say all of that has affected your view of masculinity, or if it has it affected your view of masculinity at all? Do you feel like that even plays a role?
I don't know if it plays a role in my masculinity, but I
Mm,
do get, or I do have the feeling that I am the master of my universe, that
fair.
um, because of my beliefs, because of who I am, either people are going to be drawn to me and want to learn more, or they're going to be kind of put off and think, oh, fuck that guy. He's, um, whatever liberal term for a guy like me would be. And that's totally unacceptable. And I don't want to hear anymore.
Mhm,
Or just might be kind of curious, like, hey, that guy seems kind of cool, kind of funny, kind of interesting. I might want to learn more. And so it's helped me be able to learn from more experiences because, especially from people that are diverse or different than me, I get to, give them my information of whatever they're asking, but then I can kind of turn around and ask them, hey, what led you to this? Why do you believe that? And just kind of get different perspectives because again, I know that I do not know everything, but I do know the things that I know very well. And so
mhm,
I know a little bit, I know this much, and there's all of this for me to learn and to know about.
mhm.
And so I want this to grow to this. And hopefully I live long enough to do that. I plan to live to be about 500 years old. So hopefully by then I can kind of get all that information. But between now and then, I'll learn as much as I can and share what I know.
There you go. Yeah. 500 would be pretty impressive for sure. So from all your experience, what would you say? What's your take-home message to young men out there?
To young men out there, whether regardless of what you're going through, regardless of how you identify, whether you're trying to get laid, whether you do get laid or don't, I love you.
Mhm,
You are a human being. You are worthy of love. Never forget that. And it's hard to believe because we don't hear it enough. So that's like number one. You are worthy of love. And I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. You're a human being. I don't care what your background is. You're loved. Your happiness is determined by you, and you have to learn to be okay with not being happy. That's going to be a hard thing to do because you're always, or not you are, I would guess that for the most part of your life and right now, you're not usually happy. And that's hard to accept. But hopefully you can learn to appreciate the times when you are happy. On top of that, life doesn't revolve around happiness. It's about experiences. Learn to be a better you. If you focus on that, you won't realize how unhappy you are. And when you have a partner that adds to your happiness, it's going to feel so much better because you learn to appreciate it.
I fully agree with it. Very good, powerful take-home message. So I actually think that's a really good place to stop. I think that was really powerful. I think it will help a lot of young guys out for sure. You have anything you want to plug? Any other messages you want to throw in?
You can find me on Reddit or Instagram. They'll probably hopefully be in the show notes.
Mm,
I'll talk to anyone. You'll have to add me on Instagram because I got it blocked because I used to get bombarded so much with either people talking shit or wanting to hire me. I do coaching. I only do it no more than 3 people at a time because it's hard to fucking juggle people. Um,
okay.
and I've been asked to make a course, but I can't make a cookie cutter thing because everyone is different. Every situation is different. I can't just say, hey, do this. Like the basics like I gave earlier for just getting used to talking to people. That's like the basics. Start there. Once you get to a point that you need to go further, reach out. I can help you. We'll talk then. But for the most part, if you just want to shoot shit or ask me a question or learn more about something I talked about, I'm more than welcome, more than happy to talk about it.